Now it's time for the championship bracket. This is where the money is made. This is where the high rollers play. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
Okay. All right, we're ready.
Our first matchup, let's start with the fifth place game because this is the last game of the season for these two teams.
Right.
And that's the Kamikaze Dynasty and the Capital Punishment. They're both 7-6 currently. Yahoo predicts that Kamikaze Dynasty will win that one in a 184 to 166 score. I'll be honest with you, just to start us out here, Brian, I'm taking Kamikaze Dynasty with that projection.
You know, I am too. And you look at it, once again, the key to him is going to be the Cardinals this week. Right. You know, Warner to Fitzgerald, anybody that has those two players pretty much has had a good fantasy season. You throw in there an Andre Johnson, you got to think Kamikaze's a pretty big favorite, more than even the 20-plus points that Yahoo's given him.
Oh, I agree. I think that the Kamikaze Dynasty has many good plays as opposed to the Capital Punishment with not so good plays. Their matchups consist of Hines Ward at Baltimore, LaRon McClain playing at home against Pittsburgh, and you know that's the staple of their fantasy diet. Right. And I just don't see them being able to overcome the Cardinals. Even though the Cardinals are playing at home against the 7th-ranked Minnesota Vikings total defense, they're playing at home.
Yep.
And I just don't see that being a factor for the Capital Punishment in this situation. And Capital Punishment will get the 6th overall pick.
It's certainly looking that way, unless Phillip Rivers has a 75, 80-point day, which I guess is theoretically possible against the Chiefs.
And they are the last total.
That's exactly right. Now, if Rivers has anything below a career day, I think Kamikaze wins it. And as I said in the beginning, I'm going to take the Dynasty to win this game.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Well, let's look at our next matchup. And this is one of our first semifinal matchups. And we're going to be looking at the D-Boys, who's the number 2 seed, against Ass Whipping Click. And that projection by Yahoo is 209 to 195 in favor of the D-Boys.
This is a big boy matchup. You know, when both teams are projected to score combined over 400 points, you know that this is going to be a shootout this week.
Big time right here. Big time.
Absolutely. You know, a couple of the matchups here we're looking at, Ass Whipping Click is pretty much riding with the Packers this week. They're playing at Jacksonville. So,
and you wonder which Jacksonville defense is going to show up.
That's exactly right.
And they've had, you know, good defensive outings and bad ones. So,
you know, if Green Bay gets out big early, you have to wonder, does Jacksonville kind of just fold up shop like they have a couple weeks?
Well, and that could happen. That's exactly right. That could happen. And another thing that I'd like to, you know, Brian Westbrook playing for the D-Boys, though, I mean, that leads me to pick the D-Boys just because he's been really hot lately.
Right.
Jay Cutler playing at Carolina. I mean, it's not like we're worried about Denver running the ball any. So Jay Cutler could throw the ball and score 70 again.
Right.
Thomas Jones at home against Buffalo. You never know what the windy conditions of the Meadowlands will bring. So you can expect Thomas Jones to get several carries. And I see him carrying the D-Boys to a victory and into the finals.
A couple things. D-Boys do have some worries, though. Jamal Lewis is, well,
that's true.
Wow. Great. Also, Marcus Colston, you wonder tonight how well they're going to do against the Bears defense in tough conditions. You know, on the flip side, though, Chad Johnson, Lance Moore, you know, you'd have to be happy just getting 20 total points out of those.
Jamal Lewis, 7 carries for 7 yards last week.
That's right.
I mean, give me a break.
Like he had given up.
Wow.
I think I'm going to have to follow suit though and take the D-Boys as well and see them move into the finals.
Well, the D-Boys have been there all year long. They have been, you know, at the top of the league, the top scoring team in the league. For them not to get a shot at the championship, it almost seems like, you know, a bit of a travesty.
It'd be a surprise.
It would be a surprise.
You know, like we said, with both teams projected right around 200, it wouldn't be too big of a shock though for us.
Anything can happen in fantasy football.
You ready to move on to the marquee matchup?
Let's move on. Okay. We hate to call this the marquee matchup, but you know, as the host of the show, sorry. And obviously, you know, the comments have all been good. So unless you want us to change it, you remember you send those comments our way. But this week, yours truly, the Tuscaloosa Vols against his truly, T-Town Keeper. This is a matchup that we've been waiting for all year long.
I'll be honest, going into last, you know, Monday night, Steve Smith had a big game. I was thinking I was not going to have much of a chance for it. So
he came through for you, man.
But my team is not just happy to be here. We're planning to go big this week. So, you know, starting at the quarterback position, I got Roethlisberger, and that could be tough, though. Going against the Ravens. Roethlisberger, though, seems to have calmed down. He seems to be getting a lot more short completions, like he did late in that Dallas game.
Right.
So I'm hoping, you know, in the point per completion league, he can at least, I don't know, a 20 for 30 type day may get me a few points.
Well, you need that. You'll need it because
Right.
I'm feeling like I'm having a big day. Now, here's
Right.
the only problem. I have to admit, I'm having a bit of a quandary here. I've got 3 wide receivers that take up 2 spots for me. I'm having trouble deciding between Antonio Bryant, Wes Welker, and Eddie Royal.
Right.
And I'm starting Roddy White, no doubt.
Right.
But I've got to pick 2 of those other 3. Who do I take?
Right.
I'll take your suggestions. You can send them my way. Now, I'm not necessarily going to take them, but I would like some input if you'd like to give me some help.
The dilemma.
That is the
win and
dilemma.
lose.
Well, and the running backs. I've got 5 quality running backs, and I only have 3 spots to put them. I actually currently have Marshawn Lynch out because he's playing at the 4th-ranked rushing defense in the Jets, and I inserted Steven Jackson, who's playing against the Seahawks.
Who's also been a bit fumble prone after
He has
2 last
been.
week.
He has
And once
been.
again, they're not playing for anything.
That's true.
Similar to me, I'm having to wait game time decision whether or not to start Frank Gore or not. He's going home to Miami. He's been looking forward to it all week. But that ankle sprain, now supposedly it's a low ankle sprain, more of a foot sprain, so he should play. But if he only gets 10 carries and yields to the second string running back, do I start him? I don't know.
Well, and our policy here on Big Gun Keeper League is that we shouldn't, since we're playing each other, we shouldn't actually project or predict the winning of the game. But here's the policy, and we're ripping it up here on Big Gun. So out with that, and I'm taking me to move to the finals. D-boys, I told you a couple weeks ago, I'm coming after you. And when I get this victory, if I do, and I feel like I'm going to, I'm bringing it, D-boys, and the D means you're done, buddy.
I'm glad he's excited. And this will be the last week that he has actually something to play for.
That's right.
He'll be playing for a low-round draft pick next week, though. The keeper will come up. We'll blow that 173-point projection out of the water, and we will see the D-boys of the Ass Whoopin' Click in the finals next weekend.
I like it. I like your guts. I like your guts, buddy.
You have to pick it. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed the show this week. Next week, we'll be back with our special finals edition of the Big Gun Keeper Preview Show. Please enjoy your Thursday, Sunday, and Monday.
Good luck this week.